Dove and Dragon Radio. I'm your host, M.l.Ruscsak. I'm here with special author Mary Savarese, and I probably butchered that last name for you.
No worries. Mary K. Savarese.
See, I butchered names. This is what I do on the show. It doesn't matter how simple it is. But you are back on the show today. So how have you been?
I have been wonderful. Last we spoke, it was several months ago. So it's been a delightful summer. And I worked toward finishing up my latest novel, and it was released in September. So I am thrilled to be with your audience today to share all of that.
And just to remind the audience, which novel did you just release?
Right, as you could see right behind me, if you've got fantasy, got adventure, got romance, and you wanted this, my latest work is called The Girl in the Toile Wallpaper, and it is the first of a trilogy.
And this is one that I think I was the most excited about because it's very interesting concept that you had intertwined this wallpaper that was very popular back some time ago, and made it into a whole action adventure fantasy, and it was something that was really captivating when you were writing it.
Yes, intertwining with romance. And you know what? It is around today, and it's still flourishing. And the reason for that is toiles tell a story, and they tell the most incredible stories, and they are so vibrant in their color. It's a piece of art. And I had this in my home, and I would walk by it, and I would say to myself, there's romance, there's betrayal, there is something in there to write about. And I wrote a novel around the girl in the toile wallpaper.
Now, on your cover, you don't have one toile wallpaper. No. You have several.
Yes, for a reason.
Of course.
Because our antagonist chooses to place our dear heroine into a variety that she's able to move from one through the other in this fantasy world. My story very much opens up in the present day, and my protagonist is taken back in time and helps. She also helps the heroine to help her out of her situation. So it was just so much fun to work within this fantasy and romances that take place. I'm dealing with a young coming of age. I'm dealing with a 20-something. I'm dealing with a 30-something first-time romance. And unfortunately, a divorce that takes place through the story.
Well, I mean, I think you hit every major age group in that. And as you said, it's a trilogy. So it's going to have all those age groups that are captivated with it, because it's not just made for one age group. It's made for so many different people. And it's made for the romance readers. It's made for the fantasy readers. It's made for the action readers.
Thank you. You hit the nail right on the head. Thank you so much, Melissa. I couldn't have said it better. I do, and I am so humbled. I had such an incredible review from Diane Donovan, a Midwest review, as well as the U.S. Review of Books. But Diane had said, high school age, older, if you love fantasy, science fiction, intertwined with romance and some magic, you will be captivated by this story. And U.S. Review of Books, again, I was truly humbled, where they said, this is a plot unlike any other you have read, and compared it to Doctor Who and A Wrinkle in Time. So it's very humbling for an author to be privileged in that regard.
It is, and we get some of these wonderful reviews. Trey and Press just started their doing reviews for other authors, not house authors. We can't review our own authors, of course, but we just started doing this, and to see different takes and to get those reviews and to give those reviews it's humbling because you go outside of your own mindset, what a book might be based on a cover.
Oh, and at the same time, it's very nerve-wracking because, you hope you went through the editing process and that you are offering something of interest. And sometimes you're not quite sure how a review may come back. So to receive something very positive is just so rewarding.
Yeah, you don't always get a 5-star review, but whatever review you get is humbling. And when you get back-to-back 5-star reviews from major corporations, I mean, these book reviewers are not little entities. These are known people. That is saying, I have something here. You need to read it.
I love it. Makes me want to smile.
Oh, see, I'm very good at promoting my books because I know my books. I know what, I haven't read yours yet. It's on a list of probably a mile long that says to be read.
Yes.
But at the same time, you get these books and you have to touch base on the action. You have to touch base on the fantasy. You have to fall in love with the characters.
Yes.
And this is
something yes.
Oh,
excuse me.
Yeah, you do very well.
You have to love your characters. And as an author, you become these characters. You start with them, you develop them, you nurture them. These are your babies for an author. And we bring them through like this whole life's journey from beginning to end. And Melissa, at the end, it's so hard to say goodbye. I get very depressed.
I know, I did this. I wrote a 4-book anthology. Yeah. I'm on the 4th book. I actually have it wrote. It's ready to be released. And I'm like, no, it's not done yet. So what do? I make 3 more trilogies.
Absolutely.
The characters are not ready to say goodbye yet.
And you know what? I think that's wonderful because what happens is once your reader falls in love with them, they want more. So what you're offering them is amazing and terrific. And I continue, as I said, The Girl on the Toile Wallpaper is the first of a trilogy. And the second, what I have chosen to do, there's a major theme that runs through The Girl on the Toile Wallpaper. And it has to do with it is written in the stars. So I take that theme to the next level, which it will be a supernatural thriller. And it will be The Star Riders. And then the 3rd book in the trilogy, I bring you back, and it'll be titled Return the Girl in the Toile Wallpaper. So some of the characters will be coming back, some will be new, but again, so hard to let them go.
It is. We as authors, we fall in love with them. We don't care if they're the evil villain or the heroine. We fall in love with the characters, and sometimes the characters just say, I'm not ready to leave yet, so you're going to have to write another book. And I bet when you get into the supernatural thriller, you're going to see a lot of this.
Oh, absolutely. It'll be a whole cast of new characters, but it will still be that major theme that began in the first, The Girl on the Toile Wallpaper. And it will explain certain things that do take place in the first trilogy.
Well, of course, what's the point of a
exactly
sequel if you don't explain something that you missed in the first?
Right.
But when can we maybe expect this next book in this series?
They will be released 1 year apart. So September, The Girl on the Toile Wallpaper was traditionally published by Indigner House, and the second, it will be 1 year later. So I am just about to begin editing on the second book. And as you know, that's a very, very long process that takes place for a reason.
So here's a little tidbit for our listeners. An author goes through several edits. The first, we write the book. We get it as best as we can get it to, our standards. Then we get it to an editor. And then an editor would take that and pick it apart. And then we pretty much rewrite the book again.
You are correct. It is truly amazing. By the time a reader is holding that book in their hands or on their Kindle and reading it, that book has transformed significantly from the manuscript that was handed to the publishing house. It doesn't mean it was bad. It was excellent to begin with. But from my own experience, what I've learned is these editors know their work. They take it to the next level. It is truly my dialogue, my storyline, but they're able to tweak it here and manipulate there and move this here, and it just becomes incredible.
Right. We add, what are they seeing, smelling, touching, feeling?
Yes.
What are they thinking? You know, you have to get into this. So we do go through 6 or 7 rounds of edits. And it will take a 180-page manuscript and turn it into a 500-page book.
Yes. And I mean, truly, and when you're dealing with the publisher, they approach you within words, right? How many words? 70,000, 90,000. Readers are used to pages. So I would love to say, yes, I'm dealing with, like my book is about 300 pages, but for a publishing house and an editor, we're looking at 75,000 words. Where I can say that to a reader and they'll be, what? So what do you mean?
Yeah.
How many pages is that?
As an author, as a publisher, I go through, okay, how many pages is it versus how many words is it? Because you can give me a 30,000 page, thing.
Novella, right?
Novella, and then have it spread out over 200 pages and go, okay, are you double spacing? Are you like putting word art in there?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Because it may not make sense to have it as a novel at that word count versus a novella. It varies.
Exactly.
And then you get to, well, this is just a rough estimate, the rough draft, the rough manuscript. Oh, okay, so you have to go through editing. So we're going to take that 20 to 30,000 word count and go to editing. Now you're up to 80,000.
Exactly. And they want you to write more. And at the same time, they are cutting. I mean, my manuscripts, my first manuscript, they cut 20,000 words from that. And I had to go back in and recreate and add to where they thought the direction of the story should be leading us to. But in the end, it's all wonderful.
Yet it is a wonderful process. We go through it. We go through, okay, is this a glass of wine day or a cup of coffee day? Because do I need my emotions sharp, or do I want to weep into my wine because they just cut like 20,000 words from my manuscript?
It's so funny that you say that. I would finish up with the editor and I would think, oh, I need a glass of wine now. After she put down page after page after page. So
it is, but then we come out with this terrific book that readers are going to fall in love with, and then fall in love again next year when the next one comes out.
Yes, we hope, yes. And that is our goal. And that's what, as an author, we strive for. We just want to have that reader and just grab them and hold on to them.
We do, but you also have your first book that we had on the show so many months ago.
Yes.
And that one was the Tiger Love Bubble Bath and
Obsession Perfume. Who knew? I am known, Melissa, as an author who loves to write with quirky titles. I begin with the quirky title. There's something that influences me. So with The Girl in the Toile Wallpaper, as I said, it was within my home. And I was inspired by what they were doing. Those are people in there. They're dancing, they're singing, they're living their life. But with Tigers Love Bubble Bath, I had visited a wildlife reserve in St. Augustine, Florida, and this was truly a nursing home for old big cats. And the last part of the tour, I watched this 600-pound Siberian tiger walk across the plank, look as though he's taking off a robe. He slips into this vat of bubbles, and they spray obsession perfume on his tongue. And Melissa, my mouth was opened. I could not believe this jungle creature was acting so human. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's the title of my next book. And I wrote a mystery romance with a spiritual twist around it. So.
Well, I just was watching, I think yesterday, they have a wildlife preserve, and the zookeeper, for better terminology, goes around and gives foot massages to tigers.
I believe it. I believe it. And people just, when you say, you know, oh, that's just the title you made up in your head, and the audience loves it. This is actually true. Tigers are the only big cats. They could stay, well, they sleep 23 hours a day, but if they weren't sleeping, they could sit in those bubbles all day. They're the only big cats that like water. So it's truly amazing to see this incredible creature just surrounded by bubbles. Yeah. It's amazing.
I mean, I was going through it. I was like, they're giving foot massages to tigers. I was like, I know an author that knows tigers that like bubble baths. She needs to do something with this. And the reason I brought this up is because I see that it's won several awards.
Yes. Thank you very much for bringing that up. It has won 8 awards. And it's won for new author. It's won for mystery. It's won for several other categories. And it's just very humbling to be able to enjoy. When that comes in, boy, you're jumping up and down. It's terrific.
I know. It doesn't matter if it's this first time award or your 100th award, whatever you're doing, you get this and you're jumping up and down just to be approved for it to be nominated. Okay. Then when you actually win it, that's a completely different story.
You know, just to be in a category with so many other amazing authors and writers, and to even come in, you don't have to come in first place, but to just come into the top echelon of the awards. It's truly amazing because they really go through it, you know, with a fine-tooth comb. And as we know with awards, it's not subjective. It all has to do with a numbering system. And you have to meet this criteria. Your writing has to meet this criteria. So when that comes back and they've awarded your book, your novel, it's truly humbling and amazing.
It is. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing when you get those awards. You can't put all awards on your covers. I've tried it. It doesn't work.
No, I tried it too. It gets silly after a while. My publisher said, Mary, that's it. Just do one. That's it.
Yeah. When I first started with The New Ring, this is 2016, I tried to put the first 3 awards on there and it just didn't work with the cover. So I'm like, okay, so you put one and then you list the rest of them on your website.
Exactly. That's what I have been told. Just, you know, you can move your awards around, put it on this book, put it on that book, but put it on your website. After a while, it does become a little redundant. I mean, we're thrilled to see a new award, but a reader will say, "Oh my gosh, what is this? The page is covered. What is it?"
Yeah, what you do is a little box under it, and then you put all your awards on one post. Yeah. And here's all the awards this book was either nominated for or won.
Right.
You have
and
and
that's keep going. That's it. And the season starts over again. So The Girl in the Toile Wallpaper I've already submitted, and there are several more that I will be looking to submit. But you know, a new season is right here. So
right. And
keep fingers crossed.
Yeah. Award season for authors starts now for next year.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. Well, you just won this award. Why are you doing this No, the application season for next year starts
Yes.
now, but you can
Yes.
only do it for the books that were published between this date and this date.
Right. And sometimes, like with Tigers, I was able in the beginning to receive 2 awards. One was for mystery and one was for debuting author. But they will allow you within a time span of 2 years. And as authors, we can pursue other genres. So maybe I did have it in one category and I wasn't able to win something there, but we tend to have a 2-year window and we can try several different genres to place them into. Like I had mystery, you do debuting author, cover. There's so many categories that an author can appreciate.
Exactly. And that's the thing. There's so many different things. And when you have a book that crosses genres anyways, you can't just apply for one genre. You have to wait maybe a year and apply for a different genre because it crosses over. Most books are not just science fiction. They're science fiction, action, adventure, and mystery. They cross over. We don't have one award that crosses over 3 sections.
Exactly. And they're always coming up with new categories. It's amazing to me that I will submit like 1 year under one category, and then I'm looking to resubmit, and what I will hear is, oh, we just added a whole new category. So that's quite fascinating and interesting for authors.
We have categories, subcategories, and then subcategories for the subcategories.
Right.
So it gets a little confusing sometimes, but in the world of authoring, this is what we do. And we're passionate about it because you, the readers, are passionate about the books.
Yeah. So true. Just to sit down and to just be inspired by an idea and to just bring it to fruition. I mean, to me, that's so positive in my life. And it gives me joy and meaning to continue with that. And it's fun. It's actually so much fun to create.
I mean, sitting here as an author, I had like 2 weeks of, okay, I don't have anything to do.
What did you do for those 2 weeks?
So I started working on the books. So I have 2 books going simultaneously right now. They're going to be released the first part of next year. But I had 2 weeks of, I have nothing to do. I don't want to create another spreadsheet. I don't want to work over business plans, and I have nothing on my schedule. Now, people who know me know if I have nothing on my schedule, I'm going to create something, because what happens? It turns into books that someone's going to love.
Sure. Your creative juices will start flowing and you'll come up with more ideas. And somehow that's how those new ideas are born and originate.
It is. And it's just one thing after another. And this is what we do as authors. We don't create it for ourselves. We just let our mind wander, and our readers love it.
Yeah, I agree.
So where can our listeners and our viewers find you and more about this Star Writers trilogy?
Thank you. Yes, you can just visit me on my author website, www.maryksavarese.com. My books, The Girl in the Toile Wallpaper, is available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You may have to put in toile a couple of times, I have been told, because it comes up as toilet. So, but I could connect you to those various sites through my author website. And I've been very busy with book groups. So if you have a book group and you'd love to read any of my novels, I would be thrilled to join you. It would be such a fun evening. And also in the works, I am partnering up with Adopt a Cat Foundation. So they have moved, finally have gotten their license. And
by next month, we should be able to team up where they're going to be naming kittens and cats after characters in my book. We're going to be giving away free books and trying to get the local media, TV, radio, and print involved. It would be fantastic if that takes place.
Now, okay, I love cats and I love adopting fur babies.
Yeah.
This is like one of my little passions. And I'm not allowed to adopt any more pets right now. So, but where can our listeners and viewers find more about that program?
Adopt a Cat Foundation. Just go right online.
Okay, so we will put that in there
Yep,
because
and
I love my fur babies.
you do. This organization is located in Florida. So this is within the West Palm Beach, Jupiter, Juneau area of Florida. But again, if somebody loves something like this, there are so many wonderful organizations that do help these felines. This is, I mean, I'm like you, I do love the cats, and this just fell into my lap, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be a part of it.
Well, we have my daughter's service cat. So, I mean, cats do play a part in my life. And then I have my dogs. So, I mean, my fur babies are here and they're all rescues. I think you're okay.
Now we're back.
Yes. But yeah, my personal fur babies are all rescues. Why? Because they need just as much love as a cute little puppy that's in a pet store.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they're just such beautiful creatures. Big cats and little cats.
I know. I am told I'm not allowed to adopt any more fur babies right now. So, but you know, I have a lot of going on too. So I can't just adopt animals because then I would get nothing done. But for all you out there that want to adopt a cat, here's a wonderful, wonderful organization for you. But we are almost out of time. So thank you so much for being on the show again.
It was such a pleasure. And if there's anything I would love to say to the audience is if you have a passion for something, doesn't necessarily have to be writing, but anything, just stick with it. As an author, my goal was to be traditionally published, and it took me over 10 years to have my first novel traditionally published. But if it's a goal of yours, it's in your heart, it's your passion, I can promise you it'll happen. It won't be overnight, but it'll happen.
Of course, because authors who are traditionally published, I will tell you as a publisher, for every one yes, I've said 10 no's.
Yes.
So that's me as a publisher and their standards. For me as an author, I wanted to be traditionally published. I went through 25 no's before I was picked up by my first publishing house. So that's just reality, but stay with it. Don't be discouraged. Take those no's and go, okay, this wasn't a good fit for me. Let's find one that is.
Right. And you know, I also find, even though you are traditionally published, they don't necessarily want what you're ready to offer next. So once again, I am with a new publishing house, but I had approached several others. So it's just because you do become published, it may not be what they are in the market for at the time, but stick with it. Things do change. And I always find if you're chasing what's currently out there, you're going to miss the boat. Just stick with your own ideas and dreams and just follow those. Yeah, don't write for someone else. Write because it's your passion, your vision, your dream. Yes. But thank you so much for being on the show today. Thank you so much. Had such a wonderful time. And for all of our readers and our listeners, happy reading.